It took me 27 years to figure out that I have wavy hair. Like,
Okay, Kevin's on his way. Here we go. I don't know if I need that anymore, but we're back again, dude. I feel like time is just flying by, man. What's up? What's up with that stuff? Okay, so a couple things. As usual, we got to review where we are.
Yeah.
But my buddy David Gee gave me a URL to the NATS demo system.
Ooh, okay.
That we're going to try first, because if that works, so you don't have to start a container, and then anybody who gets our software today can sort of connect. So I think I'm going to go, let's go look at our notes anyway. But we're having we're in Miami, so we got a Cuban coffee. This stuff is like crack cocaine right here. Legal crack in Miami right here.
Once you get into it, you can't stop.
No, and it's my second cup today, bro. So, woo! Here we go, man. All right, let's see here. So, it looks yellow because I added the link that Dave gave me, which is demo nats io HTTP. Huh. Interesting. Well, we'll try that. So I want to try this instead of the container that we were running. Okay. So we can play with our hack tool to start. So we've got a hack program running in NATS. And then, did we not do, okay, we haven't done cap to cap communication yet with NATS. We just have the hack program.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take this, go to our hack program. Instead of the NATS default client, let's use the NATS demo. Dude, if this works,
that'll be cool.
It'll be great. If not, I'm gonna, Dave, if you're watching, yeah, you better call me up, because if this doesn't work, I'm gonna say bad things about you. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm sure we had a little hack. Yeah, we had a hack, so I can run at the command line here. So let's, hey, if anybody's watching and it's not large enough, because I never remember anymore, just let me know. So no server available for connection. I didn't think it would be HTTP though, assuming that maybe I got that wrong. Let me see. He said it would be NATS. We can look that up anyway, but all right, no NATS. No, so let's just look this up real quick anyway. I don't know, maybe something happens if I put in the browser. It didn't work here. What if I just do quickly NATS demo site? Protocol demo, NATS by example, demo server, free NATS UI. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Okay, so it's not working, so I'll have to, oh wait, look at this. Maybe I have to specify that port in the thing. Though when we used the other one, let's just hard code that port. Maybe that's what I have to do. And maybe it's also not HTTP.
No, it's here. It's NATS.
You see, yeah, not putting the protocol in. All right, let's do it without the protocol first, because that's what you found. See, it commented out, but it's not using the it's not using the transport in the connect string. See that?
Mm-hmm.
No, so with or without it, it's still not working. And all right, so for whatever reason, I can't connect to it. But you found the docs dot, what URL is that? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but
the NATS doc. Here, I'll send it to you.
No, just tell me real quick. Show me where that is so I can type it.
Where was I? Here.
Whoa, that's a lot there. All right. How did you even find that? What search criteria did you use for that?
NATS demo server. NATS docs, that one. The third one.
The third one. Oh, okay. I know, dude. So that's not working for me, right? Okay, so it's just not working, which is fine. NATS connect, demo NATS IO, and it's not connecting. So try one more time. No servers available for connection. Okay. Now, I'm assuming it says, oh, wait a second. That's create. Oh, I'm such an idiot, dude. Can you just say, Bill, you're an idiot? Can somebody just say, Bill, you're an idiot? Because this was our hack little program, and the connect side was sort of failing because, dude, I cannot start the day off like this. That is not good, man. Okay, so error receiving message context. So maybe the Jetstream stuff doesn't work on though we didn't get an error on the Jetstream. We got an error on receiving message. Receive message, receive context deadline. What's the default timeout? 2 seconds. All right, let's change the timeout to be 10 seconds. Is there any other timeout I have to deal with? Connect timeouts. Create. Publish. Okay, receive, publish, right? All right, let's just try it with a 10-second timeout. Maybe that's public system super slow. Yeah, that would take too long anyway for messaging in our world here. Okay, so we're gonna have to do the following. We're gonna have to get David Gee to tell us why, though we did connect, right? We did connect. The rest of what we had working with Jetstream and stuff doesn't work. So, yeah. What is this connection name? But maybe this demo system doesn't have Jetstream or something. All right. Yeah, because 2 seconds should be more than enough, even over the wire there. So we were basically here waiting for the next connection, but let's do this here. Let's just for my own purpose, and then I'm just going to do publishing message so we know that it's done that. All right. Oh, wait a second. Did I do this again? I hit no, but I could have hit Control Z a couple times. Oh, there were 3 places to do it. Look at my little hack. Just hard coding connections on receive, publish, and create. All right, maybe that's why. This is why we need a constant. Okay, it is working when you decide that the const host will equal this, and you basically do that 3 times. Then it actually works. So David, if you're watching, this is just the way my week has been. I've just been making silly, dumb mistakes all week. But I've had good people around me finding it. So maybe it's all that Cuban coffee that I'm drinking. I gotta stop. Okay, you know how cool this is now? Because what that now means is that we don't have to worry about running a local Docker container for NATS. We could just use this demo site, and we've got sort of what we need now to do that. For me, which is sort of beautiful. So we've got this. We've got this. Yeah, oh man, too many mistakes. I'm starting to feel like it's it. My life is ending as a tech guy. It's too much. I got too much going on in my head. Okay, so we don't need ngrok now anymore because we can leverage the demo site for our fabric, which is beautiful for everybody. So now it's about adding the cap-to-cap communication with NATS. So if we just go back again real quick. we're basically in this world right now.
Yep.
We get 2 socket connections, and we're able to do that. I think it's in the listen call. So what we want to do now, I think we even added some code for that, didn't we? Where is that? That was in chat right there. I think in listen, we wrote some code that said, read the message, Bob, retrieve the user, send the message. Look at that. And then in send message, oh, that just tries to do that raw. Okay. But if the send message failed, then the idea was to push it on the bus, right?
Yeah.
And, oh, okay. So we had send to bus and we had listen bus. We started sort of thinking about that.
Yeah.
In fact, here's the send bus. And it wasn't on the sending failure. It was on the retrieve failure. So if we don't have that user in our own local cache, then we said we'd go and send it over the bus. And then there's going to have to be listening. Okay, now I kind of remember where we're at. So what that would mean now is that our chat thingamajig will need some NATS support. Now, if I go back to our thing, we're going to need a NATS connection, right?
Yep.
Now, I don't know why I did a NATS connection, set up a Jetstream, subscribe. That was a subscribe. The publish, and I'm sure this code can be the same, whether you're doing either or, right? So we didn't need it separate. And then we had this sort of create. So let's do this first. I know I'm going to need a NATS connection here. Now, the question, though, is, the question that is in my head at this point, why you don't want to do that, I don't know. That's okay. We're used to doing that. Is I think on new, we could do the create and everything, right? And sort of hide it in here. So again, this always comes to where should initialization sort of be done. If you're going to be deploying something to like to a cloud run, where it's just a container, then you kind of want everything to happen either within your Go program or inside the container, have it do some things before it actually runs your sort of Go service. But you have to kind of have it all in one sort of place. If you're working in Kubernetes, you can do things in a few other places. But look, what if I took our create right now for 1 second here, and I wouldn't want to keep it here, but in new, we ask for a logger. What if we asked for the NATS host, which is what we need? And then here we have, now you see we've got a defer close there. But that's okay. We could add a close method to this. We have a couple things. We could create the NATS connection in main, okay, and then just ask for the NATS connection. So we could do this, which I think is fine. So if we did this, let's just say, okay, now this fails because it wants a NATS connection.
Yeah.
So if we play this out, we could create a config here too, but let's do this. Why? I might have to just already restart this thing because you don't even want to do that. Then we'd have NATS here. Chat new. I know, that's fine. Just, oh, I put it because it was more of an API first before the thing. Now, that means that Mux is going to complain because now we need a NATS connection here.
Didn't bring it in again.
Of course not. Why would it ever bring it in? Like that would be too nice. I'm going to do this. I'm going to reload.
There it is. No,
oh, whatever. Okay, so now we bring it in here, but now we got to go to main. So now if I come back here, we can do the following. I come into main. We add a NATS to the struct host. That's fine. I don't need any of that. Just stop what you're doing. Right? With a default of demo, which is fine.
Yep.
And then right in here, we do our NATS connection. Okay.
Okay.
The copy and pasting is really blowing up Go Please today. I wonder if I should just rebuild all my tools. So sometimes I come here, especially after I've installed a new version of Go, and I tell it to just rebuild all the tooling, including Go Please. Anytime you upgrade to like that next major version of Go, you should go and do this. Install update tools. And I'm sure I've done this already, but now that I've done this anyway, I'm gonna reload the window. I don't know. Just shouldn't be that bad, you know. Okay, so this is under cfg.nats host. Now we can keep the defer there, right?
Got it. Okay.
And now here, under the mux config, you have nats and you have nc. So I'm always struggling about where should I do the construction of certain things. If you keep stuff in main, it's nice only because you know where to go. It's in main.
Yeah.
And then we flow it through. And when it has a defer close situation like this, right, this isn't going to get called until we're sort of shutting down. So we've sort of wired all that in. It may not have been a horrible idea to put it in here, but now I had to add a shutdown function to close it cleanly and sort of all of that stuff. So what's nice here now is this sort of goes away. We make sure that we've got nats. I'm going to keep things, always keep things in the same order because it's hard sometimes when you're comparing sort of what you're missing here. Let's just say that I made this a method for now, and it can be unexported, just like ping will move it. And this is more like init nats, right? Let's see. And then this would return an error. So it would be if error not equals nil. Then I don't really want to log here. Oh, so all right, let's have this conversation because, okay. Go has something called escape analysis.
Okay.
What escape analysis determines is whether a value should be on the heap or it can stay on the stack. Preferably, we want things to stay on the stack because that's pre-allocated memory and the garbage collector doesn't have to get involved.
It's faster.
Now, Go has something called inlining. What inlining says is, do I have to make a function call, or can I take all the code out of the function and inline it where the function call is? That gives you CPU performance because a function call is expensive. You got to set up the stack, you got to put everything in, then you got to rip it out. And anytime you share values up the call stack that you're constructing, that's an automatic heap allocation. However, if we inline the code, there was no function call, so there is no automatic allocation unless the function that got inlined shares it. Now, this is a chat API. It's going to be shared. It's going to be on the heap at some point. Like, there's almost, it's impossible for this API to stay on the stack. APIs in general won't stay on the stack, right? The whole point is that we're constructing this API and we're sharing it. This is why I don't want data using pointer semantics.
Yeah.
I don't want data ending up in the heap. Everybody can have their own copy. So
Makes sense.
when I look at a factory function like this, we want to keep it simple so we can take advantage of the inlining optimization. There's a scoring system. I'm not going to show you where this score is. But essentially, if we just construct and return, we're going to get the inlining optimization. Everything's going to be fine. If you start doing things like this and start doing things like this, there's no way this is going to score low enough to take advantage of the inline. And then whatever you're returning or sharing not just returning. If it's values, values can stay on the stack. But what you're sharing is going to end up. Now, I already know this is going to be on the heap. It's a single instance. That's the point of pointer semantics, some level of efficiency.
Yeah.
But when I see new functions, I always get a little queasy when they return errors. Because that essentially is telling me that the chances of this thing being inlined is slim to none. And so is it okay that this is going to end up on the heap? I already told you, it's going to end up on the heap anyway because of the way we're sort of using it in the app layer and all of that. So I'm okay with this. But you start looking at other sort of functions, like we have two functions and things like that, which we don't have here. But in other places where we might have like a two function, well, those are using value semantics anyway. But here's the bottom line. If we're going to return something using pointer semantics and it's in a construction, we should really work towards inlining that so the caller that's making it doesn't get an automatic punishment of an allocation. Let the caller decide whether or not they want to do something that will cause the allocation. Sort of don't force it on them. This isn't a third-party package. This is our own package. I already know it's going to be an allocation. So I think it's okay to do more than I would normally want to do here. Now, let's say that we wanted the inlining here.
Okay.
Okay? Then if I wanted the inlining here, then what I would do is create an API, something like this. In other words, move all this stuff out of here. So now new is just what?
Just that.
That's going to inline. If you see that, that's nothing. That's going to score super low.
Yeah.
Which means that anybody that constructs a chat API, we're not going to be forcing an automatic allocation on them because the compiler, wherever it sees new, and where is our call to new here? Our call to new is in route, okay? So if you go to route and you see this call to new, with the way I've written it now like this is what the compiler will do when it comes time to compilation. It will basically do this. That's inlining.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay.
It's going to do this, essentially. It's going to say, I ain't going to make that function call. That's expensive. I'll just pull the code out, inline it right in here, fix that. And now the function call is gone. And now there's no sharing up the call stack, and there's no allocation unless I sort of share it up the call stack. But I'm not really sharing this up the call, but at the same time, I am sort of sharing it because when we pass it here, it has to exist outside the scope of routes. The moment routes returns, this value has to still exist, and the only way it can exist is on the heap.
Yeah.
So we're going to get the allocation anyway, but from an API design perspective, that didn't happen because of me.
Yeah.
That happened because of you. Right? And you don't want it to be like, you caused the allocation, you bad. No, I didn't. I wrote that function in a way that the compiler can inline it, and you're the one who decided to then share it in a way that it still had to exist.
Yeah.
Okay? So if I was really worried about that, I would design it this way, where the new function could be inlined, and then they would have to call another init, which you're sharing down the call stack, which wouldn't cause an automatic allocation. But from an API perspective, then this person would have to do this. But I'm doing it so I'm avoiding an automatic allocation at the end of the day. But we already said a couple things here. One, this isn't some third-party package we're designing for somebody else. Two, we already know there's going to be an allocation here whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
So we could take the convenience of knowing all of this and just say, yeah, we're just going to write our factory function to a place where it can't be inlined, okay? And it doesn't matter because it was going to be, and it's going to end up on the heap anyway. This is when I say you can take some liberties with your own unexported API, with your own sort of project level packages when you sort of see these things. But if this was going to be third-party stuff, I probably wouldn't do this. I designed the APIs so I'm not the one causing.
Yeah, you can leverage it inlining.
Yes, and then it's on you that you see what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So all these little things have to be taken into account at some level when you're sort of designing these APIs. But now you see at the end of the day what's happening. So this is bugging out now because of an error. Now that's a problem because, okay, now I've got a new problem. If I return an error here,
Yeah.
okay, then I have no place to send it. We're sort of deep in the bowels of that. So what does that sort of tell you? It tells me that if this is going to be allowed to fail, as it is going to be allowed to fail, then we probably shouldn't be constructing it here. We should be constructing it in main.
Yeah.
Or what this tells me, the other thing it could tell me is this setup doesn't belong here at all. It's wrong to put it here. We should assume that when we get the NATS connection, that it's already, say, set up.
Okay.
So do this in main, right? Do this initialization in main. Get the jet stream, add to the jet stream, and then we're done. Now, maybe what ends up happening, if I look at our hack, is everything that we do is on the jet stream. It's not on the thing, okay? So what does that now tell you? What that now tells me is maybe what this needs to be.
Okay. Instead of a NATS connection, a jet stream.
Maybe this should be the jet stream context. That way what we're saying is you need to set up the jet stream for me, not that I'm going to do it. And so then if we can't set up a jet stream, it fails in main, which is probably where we really want it. I don't want it to fail this low because of where we were constructing it in route. So then I'd have to move the chat construction up into main, right, in order to avoid that, which again may not necessarily be all that bad, but constructing a chat at this point doesn't return an error. And we've made it an SDK sort of package. So I don't necessarily like using SDK packages in main. I would then want to move that to foundation because we've kind of said now that it's a little lower level, but we've added business, or in this case, app layer concerns in it. You see where all the crazy shit going through my head where, and these little things matter in terms of mental models and stuff. This is why projects get all hacked because you just, right? You're not thinking about where things are. So if we continue down this path here, then I would say that this is your Jetstream context, right? We'll fix that too. And this is an interface, you see. All right. Then in routes here, you're going to ask for a Jetstream context, which is what you're going to pass. And so we go from MUX asking for a Jetstream context, not the NATS connection itself, which I don't think we need. We'll figure that out. Then when we call routes, we have that. That goes back to a chat new, which asks for the Jetstream context. And now that doesn't have to have an error at all. And then what's happening here is we've got the Jetstream context. Pretty cool. Now,
Yeah.
JSC feels very, I don't like it. We could still say NATS here, couldn't we? We could still say NATS, though using NATS as a variable there will be fine. Because if we do this, it's not like NATS is only tied to a connection. It's a package name too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so we could do this, and that's fine. I don't mind this saying NATS, and here's your Jetstream context, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's associated with NATS. So as we come through this sort of thing, now the only problem sometimes using a variable name that matches the package is if we need something else from the package, we have a name clash. But right now I'm not going to have that issue here. So I don't mind using NATS here. I like consistency, as you know. But now this is a field, so we're not going to have any problems either there. And so now what we've done is, if we can't construct, we can't add this stream, which is part of sort of configuration, then the server won't start, which at this point I think is fair, and it's a good thing to do here. All right. Now, so we'll connect to NATS. If we can't, then we'll call this connect. All right, we can call this NATS connect. We couldn't do it. NATS create Jetstream.
Yeah.
And then this is sort of NATS add Jetstream, right? And so now we've got NATS sort of configuration right out of the box. If it fails, we can't run anyway.
Yeah.
So we can sort of log that, and somebody can figure out what's going on with this. But we don't get any deeper into the program. And then once we have a Jetstream, we know that we've got, at this point, when we get into the code, there's no issues about whether or not we have what we need, right? That's kind of cool. Again, this is not returning an error, so we can keep it here. I wouldn't then change this, because this is implementing, it's not necessarily implementing an interface. But again, if this were to fail, now this also has to return an error. And now if that's returning an error, now we're back down here, and now that's returning an error, which again, we could fail there, right? But how much cleaner is this right now?
Yeah, a lot
right?
better.
Which is not the initial direction we were going in. We were going to sort of fail here. Now, if this package was going to be a foundation package, then I would allow the failure here, because it's foundational. The idea is it should be able to be used for anything.
Has to stand on its own.
But it can't be foundational. Why? Because what we've decided to do is kind of tie too much of the business logic into this, right? Tying too much of the business logic into this. So that was a decision we made, right? But we defined this interface, and we said that somebody has to implement this sort of user storage system. Now, again, because we own the interface, we could move it down to foundational, make it a little bit more foundational. The interface would allow that. But this is so specific, right? These models are so specific to what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know how generic this is, but if we ever identified that this is pretty generic, like anybody building a chat system would need all these things, now it's starting to feel foundational. In which case, now this API should return an error, should connect to NATS, should do all those things, right?
Got it.
And then we should be creating a chat here, not a NATS thing here, right? And take the NATS, the chat creation out of here and pass that in. Because now this is foundational and it could fail. We want to know.
Yeah. It's its own thing.
Right? You see all that, and there's no right or wrong answer to any of this, is what I'm trying to say to you. It's what you want to do. And in a month from now, we might decide, you know what? what we've built here is so good. Let's give it to the world. Which
Make it
now means
foundational.
now we have to make some API changes here. This can't be this anymore. Now it's gotta, right? We don't want somebody to have to give
gotta
us a
fail.
jet stream. We should take care of those little details if it's foundational.
Got it. Okay.
There's so much here.
Yeah.
We don't know enough, and this is kind of where we're at. So I'm okay with this right now, but if we decide to ever make it foundational, all this has to move
Down.
And again, if we put it in new, we're basically saying that this API ends up on the heap, but it's gonna end up on the heap anyway. It's an API, man. It's got to be shared, and it's not a huge sort of deal. But having this here right now, I think is good, right? But you could see that we could go back and forth and ask for essentially, we would just need the host, and you would need the stream name if you wanted to do that. And there's a part of me that feels like maybe we want, but let's just keep this like this. And hopefully everybody's listening could even be disagreeing, but you can see where the engineering decision could go.
Those are the engineering decisions.
All right. And it, from my perspective now, it's all, so let's play this out for a second, okay? Let's say that, we want to construct a chat let's say we wanted to make this foundational for a second. But you see, it can't even be foundational because look at what we did. We created our own sort of handshake. Who says that everybody wants to do a handshake? You just can't. This isn't foundational.
It's too specific.
This is too specific. So what would you do if you wanted to make this foundational? How would you allow the user to define their own sort of handshake? You would have to expose just like the WebSocket does. Give me your handshake function that I will execute, and I will tell you or not it returns true, right?
Okay.
If it errors or not, and then you have to write this logic, and I'll give you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That way, and if they didn't want a handshake, then they didn't have to. But you see what's happening now? This just got more, if I want to make this foundational, this just got more
Way more
complicated because you got to take all the businessy stuff out.
Leave it more general.
It doesn't make sense. So I think it's, again, based on all that and where we're at, that's fine. So we can keep this here. There's nothing saying that we can't construct chat in main, but it doesn't fail. So, it's, okay. So enough of that. We could talk about that all day. We have this now. So we now have a jet stream that we can play with, and it's already configured. And so we're now back to send to bus and listen bus, right?
Yeah.
So the create is done. This was received, this was published. Okay. So if we're gonna publish, this is all we need, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what this, now obviously this is gonna be able to return an error. Now, let's say that we're gonna use JSON to do this, which is fair, right?
Okay.
So JSON dot marshal that, this can give us back the data or an error. If there's an error, then we're just gonna use that for a second. Fine. Marshal error, that's fine, I don't mind that.
And we marshal when the data is coming in.
Marshal is taking a Go object or value and turning it into JSON.
Okay.
Unmarshaling is taking JSON and bringing it into
Got it. Okay.
and then c.nats publish. You see how calling that nats reads better
Yeah.
than saying JS?
Yeah, JSC.
Like
you
I know what it is, but the next person on the project,
you'd have to dig through the files.
you'd
and
have
see
to go, what is that? Now you know it's nats. The fact that it's not a connection is irrelevant. The fact that it's a Jetstream context is fine. Okay, so now that's a problem. So let's come back here. So when we construct the NATS, we had a name and we had subjects.
Mm-hmm.
I've hard coded that there. Okay.
Yep.
The name
Name of the stream.
and subjects. Now we just used the same name and subject, right? And that was enough for us. So what we're going to have to do here is do name. It's crazy to me when it does that. All right. So I'm going to, oh, why don't you keep that? Okay. I'm just going to keep that right now. Name and subjects. So then this will be cfg dot nats name. And okay, so subjects, the conf package supports this. However, you can't change it. It only supports it as sort of a default. So if you wanted to change the subjects, I don't have a mechanic on an environment variable to sort of give you a slice of something. So in this particular case, what I would do is tell you, you could comma delimited this maybe, like from a config perspective. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to have a set of subjects here.
Okay.
Now, since this is our own thing, and we know we're just going to we're going to use the same name for both, right? Maybe we just do this and keep it simple right now. All right. We're going to use the same name in the subject for our purposes here. We're calling it cap. Now, I doubt anybody else is using cap, right? But, and maybe they attach some unique ID or something to it. But why don't we just call it Ardan Labs cap for now? We'll have to still make sure that works. But yeah. I know that won't be any issues anywhere else. This is a public demo system, so who knows what happens. And we'll use it for both here. However, now it's not a matter of, because I don't know if we can get the name, right? Or the subjects. I can't get it out of this,
no.
Right? I don't have it. So the only problem now is what we're going to have to do is we're adding the stream, okay? But we don't know what the name is. So now what we'll have to do here is when we pass in the NATS, we're going to have to do the, what should we call it? The stream name. Yeah. So we can call it I'm going to add this stream name, okay? So the way I tend to do this in this project is I just start working backwards like that.
Okay.
Right, so now I have it here, but now I'm going to need it in routes. So we'll do cfg.streamName. Now I would never pass this config to routes like that because now I have an import issue. This could have its own config, but it's still just 3 parameters at this point. So it's better to just pass it as a parameter. At some point we might have too many parameters, in which case we'll define a config here.
Yeah.
And we'll do it that way. But now, so you see how I'm just kind of walking it backwards?
Yeah.
And that tends to be a good way of doing it. String. And then stream name string. All right, now we have a stream name. Kind of walking it backwards. So in this case now, we're going to publish to c.streamName. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's right. So I go back to the hack. After we create the stream, My guess this is the subject. It is the subject, right? See, it's a subject for that. So I'm wondering if we wanted to be more accurate. Let's go back here for a second.
Call it just subject. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see what it feels like with subject. Going back through here. Subject, subject, coming back through here. And, you know, the idea is that you want to pass this stuff around so you can identify its origin, construction, which should always be in main. Don't hide this stuff. It feels like a pain in the ass because you're moving it from here to here to here to here. But the day you have a bug and you're like, where did that get set? You're not wondering where it got set. You know where it got set. You can follow the path from main.
Yeah.
There's nothing more frustrating when you're like, where did this come from? And it came in the deep bowels of the code base. And you're like, how was I supposed to know that? And the answer was, you weren't supposed to. There was just no way. Now, I feel like from a chat perspective, C subject maybe works. But if we go back and look at what we did here, like, there's a part of me that wants to call it NATS subject only because we might have other things here and now subject sort of interferes with other sort of, okay, I know what the answer is, just talking about it. What if we called it this?
Chat subject, okay.
Right? I don't want it to be too long, but I don't feel like there was enough context in what we were doing here, right? And you don't always get it right the first time, but I feel that's much better. Chat subject. See, now here, we know it's chat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, here we could keep it subject. Well, we could keep it subject at this point because it's, did I not change it to subject? Like, it has context here. I need the jet stream and the subject. So there's no reason to call it chat subject here. That would be stuttering. That would be redundant at this package level. But in route, okay, this route is for chat, right? Not anything else related to the domain. We could also make an argument that this could be subject here, okay? But when we get to mux, this config is going to be for lots of different domains, potentially. And so just saying subject would be, what was that, subject for the chat domain? Is it for another domain we're adding? Because over time you'll add domains.
Got it.
So
okay.
the farther away a variable is to where it's needed, the longer the name has to be. Because you don't have context.
Yeah.
But the closer a variable is to where it's needed, the shorter it can be because you have context. And so we've got context here because this is the chat package. I've got context here because this is the chat app domain. I don't have context here because this is mux. This interacts with all domains. And so we've got to be a little bit wordier here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you see that? That's a naming thing too. I hate how long it is, but at the same time,
you need that to understand what exactly.
Yeah, the only way to make it less would be to do this, but that doesn't tell you anything.
No.
That don't tell you anything. And so if your goal is just to have small variable names, but you lose the context and you just can't, I don't want like object-oriented programming Java level variable names too. That they went a little overboard, okay? But I think we have no choice here. Now, what we could have called this was the NATS subject. You see. And then tied it closer back to NATS. All right. And then if I was going to do that, okay, because this mux has this config, then I would start telling you, let's do this.
Create a type. That's
That has these two things. Now, this can be called JetStream context, and this could just be called subject. Okay. Then what we can do is embed this, because now, if we embed it, however, we're sort of flattening it out, and that's not necessarily going to make sense either. So let's say we did this. Okay. Now, what would this be? This would be config.nats.this nats.subject. That feels much better there. And then in main here, then we're going to do a nats. I'm going to do a mux.nats. And now in here we can do a
JSC, okay. And by doing that, now you kind of understand what it's
got
all related
better
to
readability, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Because now we can use the shorter name because we have the larger name in the context of the type.
Now you know JSC and subject is related to NATS.
Right. Now we know that's a JetStream context that we have. There's a subject. We come to the mux and we have it there, and then we can use it here. Much more readable, right?
Yeah.
Than anything else. And then here, we already just use our JetStream context and that. So now, this might make more sense to call this variable JetStream context, but I still like having NATS here, because when we read the code, that felt really good, being able to say nats.publish,
Yeah.
right? But from a configuration standpoint now, if we look at route, and we go, what does it need? Oh, okay, it needs a JetStream context. That looks, that feels good, right?
Yeah.
So JetStream context. Now this feels better because we've sort of cleaned up the initial config from this perspective here, right? This is obvious now. We come in here and I go, what does it need? Oh, okay, I have a JSC. Boom. When that starts, when you're able to do this and connect dots, you know you're starting to name things pretty good. But just this little silly change alone,
Yep.
right? Nats contains the, say, NATS related configuration. So by this little change alone, everything just got more obvious, therefore
More readable.
easier to read. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
And again, in a multi-domain project, I do this all the time because now I have, what do you need for this domain? What's the configuration for that domain, right? And so, in even that, instead of calling this NATS, you might call this, if I were to show you another project, right? Maybe this is the chat app.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Now it looks familiar. Yeah.
Right? So this is for the chat app, and this is what we need. And so now what you're doing is you're saying, what do I need to construct the chat app stuff, right? And then you come in here, and you can still say JSC and subject because we know that we're dealing with NATS in a chat app, as opposed to, so everybody needs logger. But now when we come in here, it's like, okay, these are the things we need for the chat
app
domain.
needs
This is the need for this domain. This is the need for that domain.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And so now, if everybody needed NATS, we could just go NATS. But now the subjects would have to change. Maybe we can't configure the subject in here, right? Maybe add stream has to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
You see, but now this, so every
It
time
all
you add a new line of
waterfall.
code, things change, and you have to keep the mental model, and you have to keep the structure of where your brain flow is going. And you keep it simple until you can't.
Yeah.
So somebody now would want to go and add a huge amount of complexity to this because they're seeing how they can see this to be foundational now. I see it. But making that foundational adds a large amount of complexity that is unnecessary at this moment.
Is it worth it?
It's not worth it. And now you're spending time on that instead of moving the product sort of forward, which is where you should be doing. Because we can always find an hour to refactor something. I don't care what anybody says. There's always a couple hours in your day, if you want it, to sort of refactor. So this is good now, right? We do this stuff that could easily fail up front. We now have our chat app special configuration from a MUX perspective, that domain. We need these things. And we come back in here. And now, after all that, we marshal, we publish, return nil. So there we go. We've got the ability now. Now, does this need to be unexported though? Oh, I mean, did it need to be exported? I don't think so. I don't know why we did that. This is send to bus. So if we don't have the user, we send it over into the NATS world, right? Okay. Now, listen to bus. We have to figure out how to set that up. Now, if we go back to our hack program, this was our receive.
Yeah.
Okay. It's essentially this.
That was going to be my next question. Where does subscribe go?
Now, it would be nice. See, it would be nice if they had, if they could do the go routine stuff for us already, right? So instead of, right, we can code this, right? Next message is a blocking call. Okay, it's synchronous, but so that's what we're using now. But it would be interesting if they had an API, right? That let's stay here. I always never remember what these icons are. So we're using this function here, net message, but it would be interesting, and I don't see it, if they had something where we could just give it a function and tell it, hey, call this anytime a message comes in, right? Or if we had the ability to, I don't want to do a fetch. We know that this is synchronous calls. I don't care about pending. So there's no way to like just, we have to do it ourselves, which is fine. Unless the auto subscribe does something. No. Okay, so I know the following. We need sort of this code here. However, we need to do this in our own sort of, forget about this running as a go routine for a second. I know the following. C.NATS. We know that we want to subscribe initially to this subject. Okay. We know that if we can't, we can return an error. Listen, subscribe. All right. How long we're willing to wait for a message, but ideally I don't even care about this right now. What I care about is being able to shut this thing down. That's a question. Can this be an orphan go routine? Let's start there. All this is doing is what? It's reading.
Reading, yeah.
And then it's going to try to send the message. So do we need to shut this go routine down cleanly? I think the answer is no,
I don't think
to be
so.
honest with you. But that being said, it would be nice anyway to kind of control and shut this thing down cleanly if we could. Okay. So the problem now becomes sort of this, is the blocking call. Now, remember we solved this problem once already on the read message where we blocked on this
Yeah.
and we did all that, right? But then you would call sort of read message again when you were sort of done. So what if we stole this code for a second? So the idea is you would listen. Somebody else will run this in a go routine. All right. We end up in a, did I steal the for loop with it? No. All right. Let's just say that we're going to go in a for loop for a minute. And this is the call that we make. Let me just steal this. Let's figure this out for a second. All right. What does this return? A NATS, a pointer to a NATS message, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this returns a pointer to a NATS message. Fine. That's going to be our channel. Okay, but we could get an error back, which I think is why we did this. So let's do this again. But this time the message is a pointer to a NATS message, not just some bytes. So we do this. I need this outside the go routine. This might too be able to be put out, but let's just keep it here for a second. So we have our channel. We block on this here. We wait. And then if the context is canceled, okay, then we can return an error, let's say. If not, we got the message, and if the error is not nil, then, okay, then what is it that we sort of want to do here? We want to do all of this, essentially. So let's do something here.
Okay.
Like this logic here, we need it twice, essentially.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to call it Bill for a second. I don't know what to call it just yet. We need this logic twice, essentially. So let's think about how this logic works here. This is in a for loop.
Mm-hmm.
If that failed, we logged it and then just did continue. Okay, that's fine. So if this failed, we did continue. Unless, yeah, everything was a continue on the loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the new idea would be c.bill, giving it context, giving it the in message, I think. And if Bill errors out, I think, I don't don't know enough yet. I moved all that code, right? Okay. Oh, I took something I shouldn't have taken. Oh, yeah, we could just pass the raw message in, which is what, a slice of bytes? Max, this is not the time to be doing that, Max. Oh, he's gonna throw up over there. All right, so imagine this, read message, and we call Bill, because I don't know what to call yet. And we could just return an error here, right? I have the logging, which is fine. Now I don't have a from here. So that could be a problem from a logging perspective, because when I wanted to do it down here, I have a NATS message. Yeah. All right. I think I'm prematurely doing this. So I am for sure prematurely doing this. Let's not do this just yet. Let's leave that code alone.
Okay.
I don't know enough yet. Let's pretend that. Let's just take what I think we need, and then we'll figure out what is the same. Okay. And then we'll do not repeat yourself stuff.
Okay.
Because I'm doing this too early here. So if it doesn't equal nil, what do we do today? We just return an error. So either the context is closed, or we just return, okay, an error. So let's just return it. Just for now. And then the rest of this is, we've got stuff to do, which I don't like putting it in here at all. At all. We need a little function.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's going to be the common function when we're done.
Okay.
But I need to understand what we sort of have here. So response dot message is the NATS thingamadig, and the data is the data. So we've got that. Okay. If that fails, we just go and get another message for now. And we log that. All right. Again, I don't know what to call this just yet. Now, the problem here is okay, the in message has what? 2. All right, so we have a problem here. We don't know who it was from. And this is where I got confused. So when we send this to bus,
We only know who it was going to.
we need the from. And when we say send to bus, this is the message, right?
Okay.
But we also, we have our from ID, I think. We need to know who it was from.
Why would they need to know who it was from? Why would the bus need to know?
Because we have to send that information to the other cap, because we don't know who it's from. Here we know who it's from because we know who owns that socket connection.
Okay.
We don't know who it's from when we just send it over into the message bus. That information gets lost.
But now, isn't the bus's job to just send it to...
I know, but now a cap receives it. It's asking, who is this going to? But if we don't say who it's from, do we ever send, when we send a message, Yeah, you see, when we send a message, we have a to this, and the in message has the from in it.
The in message has a from, or it has just the to?
See, this is bad. Oh, we have a from. From, to, and the message. So from to message. You need a from, you need a to, and you need a message.
Okay.
You just need it. All right. You need a from, you need a to, and you need a message. And a from, for our purposes, is just going to be the ID. So this is why I couldn't create the thing I wanted to create. Because at the end of the day, you got to call this. You need a from, you need a to, and you have the in message. And the in message says to in message, right? So when we do a send to bus, it's not enough to just have an in message. We're going to need a bus message. So we need a from, we're going to need a to, we're going to need a message.
Okay.
You're going to need a bus message. We need all these pieces of information.
From to the method.
So if we go back to send to bus, okay. Let's see how well Copilot did. So we need to know from. Actually, I'm going to make that the first parameter. You need to know, we already have it on the in message, right?
Yep.
So you got from to.
The in message, to ID,
Okay.
and the message, yeah.
So now, this time, what's going to happen is, this is giving us the raw message off the wire, right?
Yeah.
Here's your bus message. I like that variable better. Okay, there's your bus message. We do that. Now we have the from ID. Now we're going to be able to do what I want.
Got it.
You're going to have
okay.
the to ID. Now what we need to do is retrieve the to. Okay. But if it's not there, then it's not really an error. You know, we could just say, what is this? This is the listen bus, right?
Yeah. Retrieve.
Not found is fine. It may not be found.
Yeah.
And then now you can say from. Oh, okay. Now you see send message wanted a full user. Now the question is, does it really need it? Let's see what it's using. It needs the from name. And it needs the connection on it. So we need these two things. Okay? So if we come back here now, we've retrieved the to, correct?
Yeah.
Oh. We need the from ID, which we have. We don't have the name of the from. So what does that tell you? I'm gonna have to add from name to the to this. So then I would say from has to be a user. From ID. From name.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm seeing it.
Now we can send it. Now, here's the problem. Oh, we have a from. So there's no problem there. So that's good. Okay. Now, again, we're going to clean all this up. So we have to do a retrieve for the to, but now what we need is a from, which ends up being a user. And there's your from. There's your to. And then you need an in message, which technically, if we go back and look at in message on the send for a second, it really just needs the message, which is a string, right?
Yeah.
And that's really what it needs, which actually is better for us because we can fix that there. And then here you have bus message dot message.
Okay.
Okay. And then we can do
Bus message to ID. Okay.
okay. So I think now what gets interesting is this is unmarshalling to a bus message, then that is the same. This marshals to an in message. An in message and a bus message look different, and that's fine. And then this is essentially the same. So it's kind of like these lines of code change. That's the common denominator, sort of those lines of code. You have to unmarshal your own thing, right? I don't know what we have to pass in just yet. Let's say I created a perform send. It's given a context and given a from user and given a, let's see, what do we need? A to ID, a from ID, and a message, really, right? To ID and a message. Let's say I had these three things. Then from, to, retrieve, to, I don't know enough yet. Let's just return over here for a second. And then you send a message. Oh, shit. See, we need from. Somebody asking questions?
Yeah.
Oh, what was the question?
They just wanted for us to briefly explain what it is that we're doing, the project we're working on.
Well, I'm not going to do that right now this second, but we can do it at the end. Okay, so actually, they should go and start with the first video. Because this is, what video is this so far?
This is 7.
Oh my God, dude. Been at it that long, no? So, I think this gives us Okay, here's that block of code that I think is the same in both places. All right, now we shouldn't have that message there. And we don't have to do a retrieve user. I already have it. So then we're down to this. So I don't need that. That's just a wrapping. So I think I just wasted a bunch of time. Let's go back to listen for a second. I think there's nothing here to encapsulate. We read a message, unmarshal it. We say we have to get the 2, and then we send it. I mean, I like all that. On the listen bus, we subscribed. We have our channel. We're in a loop. Even this channel doesn't have to be recreated every time. We go into a loop. We create a go routine. We block.
Okay.
We can cancel that at any time something happens. So in which case we're blocked on our select. Now, I create a little, I don't know why I create the variable there. Oh, because we're going to read it in. So we've got a response variable. If the context times out, we return an error, it means we're shutting down. If we do that, we look to see if there was an error. If there was an error coming out of this, I'm not going back into a loop. I'm shutting down. But now we're no longer, at this point we should shut down because we're no longer listening on the cap anymore, right? We ask if it's a critical error. Remember that?
Yeah.
So where did we do that? We do that in the read message. We do that in a read message. Yeah. What I'm wondering is, see, that was a lower level thing that we did. I wonder if we should just make this lower level. You see how we made this sort of, you do read and then you do the rest?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to bring it all in together, you know? So I'm going to keep this code somewhere, but I think this is, I know what I want to do here. Let's follow the same pattern that we did with read message. Look, that's read message, right?
Yeah.
What if we call this read message bus?
Okay.
Okay. So essentially, I'm going to take this out too. Essentially, it's the same thing. All right, we do this, we do this, we have our go routine. We need the sub. What was the sub?
Subscribe.
And that's subscription. All right, give me a sub.
Okay.
All right, keep it low level. And then we return an error like that. Or we return, what was the slice?
Slice of bytes.
So let's say we follow the same pattern here. Let's read message bus. All right.
No.
It's the same pattern. Except we get a NATS message back. And I'll do it this way instead. All right. You get a NATS message. All right. And we get rid of for loops because we don't need this to be in a loop. Okay, so we follow the same pattern here. Okay.
No.
You call this, and it blocks, and when a message comes in, you can do your thing. And we use this read message. We use it here for listen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's still listen. no sense in reinventing the wheel. So let me put it here because I don't think this has to be a. So this is listen bus.
Yep.
Okay. Now listen bus, however, let's go back to our hack. All right. Listen bus needs to do this as the first thing. And we can get this on C dot subject, right? And listen bus, let's say, can have an error. And this should be C dot NATS. Okay, so we get our subject on listen bus, right? Now, the other thing this does is, okay, so this is good. So now we're in our loop, and we call read message bus. And it requires a subject. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay. This idea of a critical error, what does that do again? There may be some NATS errors here that I don't know about. So we're going to have to learn.
Yeah.
Okay? But let's just use it. So we're going to return the error in this case, not continue. That bit us in the butt the last time, though, remember?
Yep.
Okay. Then in this case, we have message data, and this ends up being a bus message. Cool. Okay. And when this comes back, then what do we know? Listen bus. See, I don't know why we need to pass a from here on listen bus. We don't know who it's from. That's the whole point. We do know at this point it's from ID to ID, right? Okay. Now, we do know that we need to retrieve the two. Okay. If it doesn't exist, then we just say status user not found.
Okay.
We continue because oh, but if it's not that, well, we just tried to, yeah, but you know, what do we do here? In our case, we tested that because of this, but so why don't we just do this? Just keep it simple right now. I can't find it, that's fine. Now, when we do a send message, we need the from, right? User. And we have that information.
Yeah.
And then the bus message has a message. See? That's pretty good.
Okay.
Just keep it the same. So, see now listen bus, we do the subscription one time, we go into a loop, we read the message bus. If it's a critical error, we're out. Just like in sort of listen, we're out, though we don't return an error there. Now, in this case, I'm returning an error, but we could get rid of this error if we require you to pass in the subscription. All right, because we can move that code out.
Okay.
Now, this is essentially the same logic.
So we
okay.
basically did the read message and listen, but now for the bus.
It's just right,
Yeah,
and a
we're just
different
repeating.
object that comes in.
Different object, yeah.
Now, the problem though is with listen bus, like for listen, you know, what happens with listen? We do a handshake. And then I think at the app layer domain, we hold that connection tight on listen,
Yeah.
right? We did that. That's good. But for listen bus, all right, we have this problem now. Now, I think I need this context, because this context tells us when the thing is dropped.
Yeah.
So you see how we set up the Pong handler? This is where we got to call listen bus. But listen bus has been designed to stay in a loop, okay, till it's canceled. It has to run in its own go routine. And we can kill it essentially by canceling the context. Now, I don't like mixing go routines with these functions. You've never seen me do that.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, we did it here, but the function is synchronous. You call it and it returns. And I want to keep that. So what we can do here, if you want to keep your concurrency from getting out of control, you don't sort of mix these things together. Okay, we need this NAT subscription now.
Okay.
So, this is the handshake. Now we're in a go routine, so if that fails, we're done. So if I put this outside and then close over it, I can return an error. But ideally, we can do this. So after the handshake,
Okay.
right? So we go through this whole handshake thing, read message, we do that, right?
Add it.
I don't want to write this yet until we're done. So if I do this for a second. In this section of the handshake, we do some administration stuff. We add the user. Okay. Now, what we could do is if this is going to fail, oh, wait a second though. This is wrong. We don't need one of these per connection. Damn it. We need it. Oh. Okay. I'm doing some bad things here. We don't need this on the handshake side. That is bad. We only need one of these. We need to do it here. I only need one thing listening to the bus. The problem is that I want to be able to cancel it if the system is coming down. That was my problem. So let's do a couple things here. If I do the subscribe, now this has to return an error. Okay, I need to know that I couldn't subscribe in order to listen to the bus. I'd prefer not to wrap the go routine inside of this, just because I think it's cleaner this way. This is a blocking call anyway. I need a context for this is the problem in order to be able to shut it down. This could fail. we were solving some of those problems by passing these sorts of things in, but it doesn't make sense to pass in a subscription here. So it definitely has to have its own context, like a ping. That's a good question. Do you care about ping? Hold on. Ping doesn't really use a context. We didn't care. We orphaned this go routine off. Remember we talked about, can this be an orphan go routine? Right?
Yeah.
And I think the answer was yes. We might have to do the same thing here for now. So what if we did this? Start simple. Keep it simple until you can't. For a second here.
Okay.
Let's say we did this. Did I do this in ping too? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just say that we orphan this for now. It reads off the bus. It does these things. It tries. If we're shutting down, we can just let this go routine just go. It's not really affecting any sort of state. Now, once we read a message, though, if it died, that message would never get delivered.
Yeah.
There'd be some of that. But let's just keep it simple for a minute here, okay? So if we did this, then this is just c.listenBus. All right.
Which earlier we said it would be an orphan go routine.
I think we can get away with it being an orphan go routine. I do. But I come back to this problem. Yeah, Joseph, we did agree that it can be an orphan, and I think we're going to start off with it being an orphan, at least for now. I don't think the only problem with being an orphan in a more productive, well, if we had ACK-NACK, which we can do in NATS. Right now we're doing an automatic ACK-NACK, but NATS says if you get something, you can manually do the ACK to tell it to get it out of its persisted queue.
Okay.
So though we're not doing that right now, if you think about listen bus, okay, we could read the message, and then at the end, after you send it, you do the ACK back to NATS. Then if that died and it came back up, it would still be able to get it. Right? There's a lot more we could do at NATS. We're just using it really simply.
Got it.
But
Okay.
I don't see why this can't be an orphan go routine at the end of the day. I don't think we need the complexity like we didn't need with ping for now. This is my problem now. We need to subscribe. So I don't want to pass that in. I just don't. So if I have to do this, let's go back to something back in main for a second. Remember we did all of this here?
Yeah.
Okay. If I've got to do this, if at the end of the day, this has to return an error.
Which would mean we can't use the inlining.
We weren't going to use it. I mean, it wasn't going to matter anyway because of what it is. It's just, we had a big conversation around whether or not, we had a bigger conversation. Okay, so if we did this for a second, host string, NATS host. If I got to return an error anyway, okay, then let's think about this for a second. Then I could do the connect here against the NATS host, return an error here, do the jet stream, return an error here. We need a subject, which we're using for the same thing here. Return an error here. And then at this point, we can do the subscribe. Turn the error here. And we know that we need two things at this point. We need our NATS, Jetstream, and our subscription, right?
Yeah.
So now everything is kind of tight here. So what if we just did this for now? So this would be JSC. Now we do subscription, which is our subscription here. Okay. That should have been fine for JSC here. Logger. JSC is undefined. You're right, because we just called it a Java. Jetstream. So maybe we just call it Jetstream 2 at this point. You see. Then we can return this and nil. So because we have to construct this and it has to error out anyway. Oh, my friend came back and said we get back to the defer issue. Okay. So then that was a good catch. I was going to get there already. Let's do this. Keep that out there. So we asked for a connection. And then we can do the rest. Then we don't have the defer issue anymore. And then we can return that. We have our ping. We have our listen bus. We do the listen bus first. I tend not to like this, but we have to do that. And then here, this is JS. Send a bus. Read message bus. You see, now we don't have to pass a subscription in. Let's see, subscription. All right. Read message. What is it bugging out with over here? I don't see the, oh, there it is.
The C.
Subject.
Yep.
Okay, so now what I think we need to do now I'm going to go back to main. I think now in main we create this, okay? Then we need a logger. We need a NATS connection. We need a subject dot NATS name, I think it was. Oh, man, what was there? Maybe we just call this subject so we're not confused, right?
Yeah.
And then we need the users. Fine.
And it returns a error.
No, that can return an error, which has been our entire sort of problem here, right? Okay. Then I think what we do here in Mux at this point is we don't need any of this now, right? What we need is a I think this is what we need. Oh, we called it a client. Oh, shoot. I can't even remember anymore what we call it. It's a chat. So come back here and we say we want to chat. Okay. So let me play this out now. On the muck side, see at that point, we can even just do this, right? I don't need the extra.
You don't need the embedding.
I don't think we need it at this point. So in main, we have our chat. You can just do chat, right? So we have the NATS connection. We construct our chat API here. We pass that through here on the MUX. The MUX now gets it, and it can pass in log and chat, right? Go to routes, and all this just becomes chat. We don't need this anymore. We've already constructed it, right? And now everything's sort of clean. So I was thinking about this when we started today. Do we want to pass a chat? But it wasn't returning an error because we didn't need to. But now that we had to do this, that had to be done here. So it's like it just had to be done there. There was just no way around it. I felt like we were now putting too many details in main. This was fine, but it was just too much at this point. So we do all that. We construct our chat. We start our orphan listen bus. We start our ping. Now in main, we do our chat nats, chat and nats, right there. So we get our connection. We construct the chat. We pass all that through.
Got it.
That seems pretty clean.
Yep.
We can handle that. And then on listen bus, we don't need that either because we're not even using it. Interesting. Listen bus. I'm going to move listen bus. I don't want it to be the first. Second is critical error. Read message. Read message bus. Send. Like, just from a...
Keep the send with the send.
Yeah, we have send message. Why don't we call this send message bus, right? And then we had listen bus, read message bus, send message bus, Pong. I think we're going to have to play with this one. So I'm going to put this first.
Okay.
And then we have our listen bus, which is an orphan, which we could, if we wanted to, cancel that, right? We could set it up because this could take a context, and then we can set it up because of the way we wrote read message bus. We can cancel the context if we wanted to. But in order for that to work, when we call new, we'd have to give new a context that would give us the ability to sort of cancel things on shutdown is what we would need for new, right? So, and we would set that up here. So we'd have a context here that we would cancel on a defer, and that could sort of shut it. But what we really would need is a shutdown, actually. I wouldn't do it that way. That didn't feel right. We would need a shutdown. We still need a context to do it. But you see how complicated this sort of gets.
Yeah.
So until we need to solve that problem, I don't want to solve that problem. This should be enough. That being an orphan should be enough. Okay. I think we've got all the code in here. I don't know if we've got enough logging, though, to know what's going on. Oh, I do have it there. But why don't we change this to bus, message received, bus, message sent. And then on the listen call here, this will be local. Yeah, it's a local.
Okay.
Like a local, right? And then on this log, maybe we'll just do local, right? And this we made exported. Let me think about that. We made that exported because, oh, that's what everything sort of, yeah, it blocks on that. Yeah, we set it up and then we listen, right? So we made that part of our larger API. Okay. And after the handshake, yeah, which makes sense to me. So that's our local. And then listen bus, this can be bus, right? Bus. I don't know why I have the word listen though. Just be bus. We would know what that is. I mean, at this point, we know what local is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got some logging here. Okay. If it even just starts up without failing, that's half the battle right here. So, all right, let's do the following for all of our guests. We have not tried this code yet. This is our first version of NATS, right? Okay, so we have a really bad client. I don't even know if we should be using the client, but let's make sure we didn't break anything. Let's start there. So I should be able to do a chat run, right? That's good.
Yeah.
Came up, which means it had to connect to the demo system and all that. Yeah, we solved the defer. Somebody brought up the defer problem again, but we solved that. It was a good catch. We were going to be a problem. Okay, now let's just make sure we didn't break anything. This isn't using NATS by any stretch of the imagination yet. We have to. So I've got hack 0. I got hack 1. And I can just say hello 0. And that worked. And here I can say hello 1. Okay, good. Now that didn't go through NATS though.
Yeah, that was just local.
The only way to test this is for you to pull latest. Everybody's trying this now, which is scary. Don't do this yet. Pull latest. You want to run your own server.
Okay. What was that? Make chat run?
Make chat run. Okay. I'm going to run hack 0. You're going to run hack 1.
Chat.
Hack 1.
Which one?
Send me a message. Say hello, Bill. Dude, we got it. Woo! Wait.
That's
Somehow. Oh no, everybody can see it. Dude.
It worked.
What? Okay, wait a second. Where's that? Let me do this again. Hold on. Hi, Kevin.
Yeah, it worked.
Okay, send a message again. Oh my God. How did that work out of the box, bro?
That's good.
Oh my God, dude. Okay, we got to clean up the client so other people can.
Oh, someone else typed.
Hey, I don't know who. Yeah, I know, but we only have 2 users right now. Yo.
It's Mom.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm killing it. Sorry, everything's going down. All right, I'm killing this thing. Kill this thing for now. Okay. Dude, that's crazy, bro. Crazy that worked out of the box. And okay, so
That's
here
cool.
on shutdown, this is bad, right? And my guess is connection closed. Okay, let's figure this out. because on shutdown, everything went to hell. Let's fix this first. Well, that shouldn't necessarily be an error in the log, so let's fix that first. Dude, I don't really care.
That was cool.
I mean, even with the little problems that we have, but we'll tighten this up now. Okay, so that was local retrieve, right? Which is listen. So local retrieve, if it not exist, okay, so this all happened on shutdown when I hit Control C. So we should be able to like be smarter about this, right? This is the one that I really want to deal with here.
Connection closed. Yeah.
So let's start with, didn't I do a type T? See, this sucks, man. They gave me an error string. Instead of giving me a real error, right? They gave me a error string that the connection is closed. That sucks. So what happened was we got here and we did this, and then this kept happening until we finally shut down.
Yeah.
So, and the context in our case wasn't canceled because we're in here. And we don't have the ability to do that. So a really quick fix, which I want to hurt the NATS people with. Oh, maybe NATS has an error. Error. Okay, I'm not upset anymore. Question is, which one? Connection closed. NATS error.
Connection closed. That was there.
Okay, so that's it right there, right?
Which
okay.
We could put client.
And why do I have NATS in here? I don't. Did I misspell it?
Connection closed.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what it is.
Okay, thank God they have a variable. So that solves this problem. So we'll try this again. All that should go away. Okay. But let's study this again. Okay, I'm going to start chat run again. Let's just send one message. Okay, look at this already. Whoa, 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 whoa. Are we not acting? We might have, oh, this is bad. We might have to act these ourselves. Hold on. When I come up, you see these messages are still there?
Mm-hmm.
I think, hold on, this is bad. All right, we're gonna have to do something. Just for now.
User not found, user not found.
Okay.
It's giving us the whole.
Because I think we may have to act these ourselves after the read. Remember I told you there's an ack, sort of knack.
Yeah.
Blocking until it's delivered or the context gets canceled. But I think, shit, man. This part I don't remember. This one we're going to have to look up. We're going to have to, there may be a way of telling it to automatically. So when we set it up, I think this is where I wish I had David. Here's the add stream config. There's an acknowledgement thingamajig that we have to set. Because you see it keeps coming up because we haven't acknowledged those messages.
Yeah.
And it's keeping it sort of there in queue. Okay, here it is. No ACK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For our purposes right now, let's do true. Now, this might break other things because this was already created.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. This is like when I played with NATS earlier, this is sort of the hell that I went through. Let me see if there's a way to delete a string. Name. Just for now. Okay. We were able to delete it. All right. Now it came up. So let's test it, just you and me one more time, just to see if I just turn NAC off. Chat, add NAT stream
name.
already in use.
Stream name already in use.
Somebody just sent me something. I don't know why that happened, dude. You got to pull latest, that's why. Because you don't have that setting.
No, I'm already up to date. I don't think you pushed.
Oh, I didn't push it.
You didn't push that.
Okay, hold on. Somebody somehow got something through, but let me try that. All right, let me push that change first of all, because you need it.
Yeah.
Adding no ACK. Yeah, so I don't know what happens now. Git push. Now, if I start the server again.
There we go. I started.
See, but this is that other person. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, but you got messages, right? See, I don't want these messages anymore.
Yeah, I got the messages.
Okay. So I'm going to do the delete again on my side just to start over. But this is where we might have to ask for some help. I don't want to have to do axe. When I read it, I want it. Maybe that's on the read side. Oh, read message bus. Let me see if there are options. No. Takes a context, returns the next in the synchronous blocks until it's delivered or it gets canceled. All right. So I was hoping. We're going to have to try it again. I'm going to add the delete right now. I was hoping if I say no ACK, let's read that again one more time. God, we're so close. If set to true, publish methods from JetStream client will not work. Core's NATS publish methods should be used instead. All right, so maybe it's on the publish side. Let's take a look. Listen bus, send bus. Let's see if there's options on the send side. Publish, there are options. NATS pub options. I hate this too, because I don't like how they did this, because this has to return something that returns a pub op, and I never know what returns a pub op, you know. Okay, let's do the following. Let's see if this knows anything about NATS here. Do I get NATS to automatically handle ACK? I don't know. You can use the ask policy, ACK policy. When you add, oh, we don't do consumer stuff. It's part of, maybe it's part of creating the jet stream. Oh. See, when we add the stream, it was just a no ACK, but I didn't like it. But I don't know if I want to create a consumer because this is when things get really complicated. The other thing is just to send it, but I don't know how to send it. So let's come here in the code and we'll do a read message bus here, right? How do I acknowledge in NATS I received the message? Okay. So
Copilot using an else clause.
yeah, but it looks like message has a ACK on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we got an error, we return no message. If not, we return a message. And the message is right. So, okay. So then if we're here, just do a message ACK. Except it's in the response. Message. Okay, that will probably solve our problem. Acknowledging it there.
Okay.
If it's not an error. I don't particularly care if that fails, to be honest with you. That's probably going to solve our problem. We acknowledge the message. Okay, let me push. Oh wait, do I have the delete in there?
You do, I believe.
I don't want the delete in there. Let me run it, and then I'll get rid of the delete. Okay, let me get rid of the delete. Get commit -a, I'm adding message ACK. Okay, now pull the latest. I'm going to do a make chat run. I'm going to go to hack 0 again, UB hack 1 again, send a message. I got it.
Yep.
Hello. Okay, now I'm going to hit Control C. That's a beautiful shutdown now, right? All I see is on chat 195. Let's start there. Chat 195.
Which is in the, is that in the
that.
critical? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
which is good.
Yep.
Everything was clean.
User doesn't exist in local.
It didn't. And then on the bus retrieve, user not found. We'll figure out what that is. But here's the real key. No, look at what happened. Damn it, dude. It's still in there. Whew. So that ACK didn't tell it not to stop. That's the problem, right? Where is that again here? Maybe this needs to be, I mean, it shouldn't matter, honestly. Maybe I need to check the error on this. This tells the server processed and it can move to the next message. The thing is, it moves to the next message, right? But it's not, every time we start it up, it's seeing those messages again. So returns the next variable to the signal block. Yeah. I don't know, dude. Right. This is that's back explicit policy. Well, I don't know what that does. This is the thing that really confused me with NATS API. See, that's just a constant. So I don't know where that's used. All right. So what do we know? We know NATS is working. We know, though, that these messages are staying on there, which is maybe why the other thing's working. That maybe you only want to acknowledge. Well, all right. I know we're stuck at this point.
Yeah.
Because I think it was doing automatic acts. It just wasn't deleting the message, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's try this. That's not removing message from
Past messages.
From I don't know what you call it, queue after delivery. I might try to get David on the phone for this one. This is bumming me out.
Gave you just about the same thing.
It gave me the exact same thing. The only thing
Yeah.
is I didn't log any errors coming out of this thing, right? So we could see what happens
And
when I
consumers
return an
configure.
error.
There's more underneath that too. There's more underneath that. You have to have a consumer.
I don't know what's going to happen, but okay. So let's do that. Let's go back to here. I'm going to have to delete that thing again. What was it? Delete stream. I'm afraid to do this part. But let's add it and see what happens. First of all, let me run this. That's good. Let me kill it. Let me undelete the stream. And we're going to do the yak. We still have the yak
We still
in
have
here.
it. We still have it there.
Okay. Okay, let's add this because I don't know my past history with okay. So let me add in consumer. All right, pull that latest. I have mine running. You have yours running?
Yep.
Start your chat. Send hello. I'll just send hello to. Okay, I'm killing my chat. I'm killing my server. I'm bringing my server back up.
Hello and hello
And
too.
it's still there, bro. So it's not.
It would be cool to maybe get David on the next show.
David on the next show. I'm calling David now. What are you talking about, bro? This is slowing me down. Dave. Do I have Dave's? Oh man, I don't have Dave's number. I got him on. Yeah, pull subscribe instead of subscribe sync. We might have to try that. Let me see if I can get Dave though while we're yo. Let me just see. Are you around? All right. Let's go back to what my friend here is saying about pull versus, okay, so we know none of that worked, though it didn't fail. None of that worked. We know the acknowledgement didn't fail either. I would have seen an error, so we didn't see this. Now, back to that for a second though. Hello came in, bus retrieve, user not found, which would have been me, right? It would be nice to know what user it's not finding too. So let's just put that in the logs, because I think it's me that it's not finding. In which case, we can record who we are or record something. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that yet. Oh, here's the message here though. So that's, which one is me? All right, we'll deal with these issues later. If we don't solve this problem, none of that even matters. Okay, so I don't even need this. Let's go back to pull subscribe instead of subscribe sync. Okay. Subscribe sync creates a subscription that can be used to process message synchronously. Oh man, if I have to do pull subscribe, that stinks though. We need to somehow use this NATS deliver new. All right. NATS.deliver. What is deliver new? The only thing I'm worried about is that these messages are staying persisted, but maybe that's it. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we need a delivery policy of not all, but that returns a sub opt. Maybe there's a delivery policy here. No. Okay, that returns a sub op. That's a subscription option. Okay. Where do we do the subscription, dude? We do it here, don't we? Okay, maybe that's the problem. Maybe we just, I'm going to delete this again. What bothers me though is, and this is where we'll have to ask David, how long do those messages stay out there then, right? So let's try this. Let's go with a deliver new. So only receive messages published after the subscription, right? Which means we might not need the consumer. I'm going to comment out the consumer, okay? I'll leave the ACK, however. But with deliver new, well, if I say deliver new, then I don't even need the ACK per se because, so these are things we have to ask David. But let's do this. Let me at least start it so we delete the thing that's there. Okay, let me kill it. I'll just comment that out. I'm not going to add the consumer. I'm going to do a deliver new. Oh, it configures the consumer. Let's keep the consumer. I'm going to know more on Thursday. Okay, let me do this again. Okay. All right, let's push this. Okay, command new delivery option. All right. make chat run. I'm going to connect. I don't even think this is 100%, but this gets us at least where we need to go. Okay, send a hello. I got it.
Yep.
Hello back. Got it. Okay,
Yep.
I'm going to kill this. Start again. Okay, so that worked for the other thing. So shut off your server.
Yep.
But yeah, it wouldn't matter because we're saying only deliver new. Okay, so that worked for now. But I don't think this is the right thing. So I'm going to ask David when we're done to sort of look at this and tell me what's going on, and we don't waste time here on the thing. But at least it solves my other problem where it's coming back. So good job, Mohammed. We'll use that setting for now. We'll keep this the way it is, and we're good to go there. Okay, well, there's more to configure with NATS. And how would I get David on this show anyway? If I wanted him
We
here
could add him as a
Thursday?
guest on eCam, and he can virtually
He
be
can?
with us. Yep.
All right, I'm going to try to get David Gee on Thursday to jump in and help us configure the NATS a little bit more, so
Yep.
it gets us what we want. Okay, so we're pretty much good here, at least for now. And the logging got better once we were able to identify that error message. Now, the other thing I was telling you about was when you send a message, when I send a message, oh, I shouldn't be sending it. So this is what's bothering me. Start your chat server again, Kevin. And start your hack 0, which is the next thing we clean up. All right, send me a message. Says hello, and it was, whoa. Oh, wait, why does it say bus message sent? I shouldn't say bus message
Are
sent.
you?
Bus message sent. Oh, because it was sent to me. Okay, the bus side sent me a message, right, to my connection, and therefore I got it. Okay, so that shit says that I had it, right? Now if I do hello back, then I come in, I go, oh, user doesn't exist. I don't like that being an error, so let's change that to be just status. I'm assuming that's what that was. Status. We don't have user, right?
Why would it say user doesn't exist if I'm still connected?
Because it doesn't exist in my local cache.
Oh, okay.
So we got to see what this is because I don't like any of the messaging here, right? So local retrieve should have just said, right, we don't have the user, right? So this came in from, I sent a message, right? I came in and it says user doesn't exist. Well, honestly, what it should say is if error is send message bus. Oh, we send this anyway. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, I think that's the real problem. Because I don't want to log this if we do this.
Okay.
Well, that's fine. Let's just say status user not found. Okay, that's fine. If user not exist, so really technically that should have been in here. That's what was confusing. Now here's the problem with this here. Even if there's an error, this is the only error we could ever get out of this. I kind of like over-engineered this a little bit. But maybe in the future that's not true. Only because This could be actually hitting a database system or something. And you know me, I hate else clauses, right? But all right, so that's the first problem here. Switch default. This can be error. Okay. So let me get rid of this for a second. That's what I should be seeing in the log, right? User not found. Sending over a bus. Something like this. Now, if I see bus retrieve, that was nothing to do with that. So let me see where this is. All right, bus retrieve means that we received a message from the bus. And okay, I should have the same situation here. These are not found. Technically, what I did here I should be doing here.
Okay.
Now, here's the other problem though. What happened here? We got a message and this log keeps sort of messing with me a little bit. Just gonna go small for a second. Bus message sent, but where is bus message received? You see this too?
Mm-hmm.
Just hello on chat 223. Oh, chat 233. That was this. I know, I agree. I just made some changes though, so we're gonna have to do it again.
Okay.
Let me do it again. Do a chat run. Send me a message. If somebody thinks we're missing a continue after line 177, I'll look at that in a second. So, what did I get here? This is all one log line. Chat 237.
From to that.
I know, but what's bugging me out is I don't see the message with it. Oh, I don't see this in that log line is what's bugging me out, dude. I see hello.
Go back.
I have something is off.
Message.
237. I said log the message and then the args, and this is using our logger. This is what's got me weird because I should see to, I should see from. I don't see. I wonder if my little log file program is blowing up.
For message.
I bet
You're
you.
seeing that.
Actually, I'm not seeing message, and I'm wondering my little log thumped program is. Right, it should put it in this order. which is trace ID. Oh, when it sees message, it just treats it as, but that's, okay, that's fine. Oh, I can't use message here as a key. If I use message here as a key, it, oops. Okay. But that's because I know my logger puts this in as the message. Okay. But I'm not doing that anywhere else. Where is listen, a regular listen? Oh, I wasn't putting the message in there, was I? But for debugging right now, remember we had that whole conversation about this is so insecure that we don't want to do this, as I repeat myself. So, okay, and then we get here on chat 243. And so here's what happened. You're the only one to send a message, right?
Yeah.
So you sent that message. I retrieved it. You said from to me. Oh, I wasn't there. I don't know if I was connected. So let's do this. Hold on. Let me restart. I'm going to connect. Okay. Send me a message.
Okay. You're hack 0, I'm hack 1.
Okay. Now I see message hello from to message sent to me. Okay. So I don't think I was connected. Then if I say yo, 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 user not found, sending over the bus. I like that. Message received.
Message.
User not found. So what happened is I got back the message that I sent, right?
Okay.
And that's going to happen. But ideally, I shouldn't be looking this up. Like, I'm the one who sent that message. Now, the only way for us to know that is if we add another field that says, like, what cap sent it. We give each cap an ID.
Okay.
And a message comes in, then the cap would say, oh no, I just received a message that I sent, so I can just ignore it. But you see how it all comes back sort of full circle. Because we're just kind of blindly on the bus. So we would at some point have to add a cap ID, and then we'd know that this message was sent by us. And maybe this is something we can ask David. Is there a way to tell NATS not to send a message that we sent? Right?
Okay.
Let's see. Fix some logging. So let me add some notes here real quick before we go on to the next thing. So
We are way over time.
what time is it? Oh my God,
we are
dude!
Way over time.
Oh, I had no idea. Okay, so let's finish this. I'm gonna add some. Okay, we got to refactor the client, but I'm gonna have NATS. Dude, I had no idea what time it was. Okay, 1. Handling ACK, NAC better, and then not receiving our own messages, right? Okay, let me commit notes. Dude, you should have told me how far off we were.
Well, I was letting you were in the flow.
No, dude, I know, but I had no idea. Let me look at line 177 real quick. Or somewhere in there. No, we have a continue here, so I think we're good. We do the message, we don't log the other thing. I mean, I don't handle errors here, which is bad. Let's just take a look at that real quick. What kind of error can we get from send message bus? Go to definition. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I would say here is error, only because if it happens, we're blind, right? Okay, let's just do that for now. Actually, everything here was local, yeah, bus send. Okay. And then that was a listen. And then if I look at listen bus, no, we're good. All right, let me just do that. Just fix error handling. All right, I'm gonna push that. Okay, so way over time, I didn't even realize it. But dude, we've got, let me switch over to our camera here. We've got cap to cap communication over NATS. We had some people there connecting. We still don't know how to configure NATS perfectly, so that deliver new is kind of a hack, but it got us out of the other thing. So we've got notes for David. That's good. So when we get back on Thursday, hopefully David, if I can't get David on, I'll have all David's notes. We'll fix that NATS stuff that we need fixed.
Yeah.
And then we have to build a better client.
Yes.
One that everybody who's watching can connect to. And maybe the client asks you for name and assigns an ID.
Yeah.
And we can all have by end of Thursday, we should all be having a group chat. Everybody that's online. That would be crazy.
That would be cool.
Right? You just have to run your own little cap. And you can talk to anybody on the planet.
That's cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. All right, I appreciate the help too. We always get stuck and we need the help. But we'll see everybody on Thursday. And I mean, we could be done with this project on Thursday.
Really?
Technically.
Okay.
I mean, the other little stuff that I showed is like, it doesn't add value at that point, right?
It's working.
We got cap-to-cap communication. We got a decent client, right? Like we've solved it.
Yeah.
In a fairly production-oriented way. And I think at that point we can sort of move on to the next project in the list.
Ooh.
I'm going to let you drive a little bit more next week. Okay, signing off, everybody. Sorry for, man, this almost went 3 hours. Sorry for that. But we'll see everybody on Thursday.
We're good. I muted it.